In a small, quiet town in Georgia, there lived a young woman named Maya. She was full of life, creativity, and dreams that stretched far beyond the boundaries of her little neighborhood. From a very young age, Maya had been fascinated by beauty. She loved experimenting with hairstyles on her friends during sleepovers, sketching out makeup looks in her notebook, and imagining herself as a top stylist working at one of the fanciest salons in Atlanta. Her passion wasn't just a hobby, it was her calling. Growing up, Maya faced many challenges. Money was tight in her household, and opportunities didn't come easily, but she refused to let those obstacles stop her. After finishing high school, she worked 2 jobs while attending cosmetology school at night. It wasn't easy juggling work, studies, and family responsibilities, but Maya was determined. Every late-night study session, every early morning shift, and every sacrifice she made brought her closer to her dream. Finally, after years of hard work, she graduated at the top of her class. Her instructors praised her talent, creativity, and dedication. They told her she had what it took to succeed in the competitive world of beauty. With her diploma in hand, Maya felt ready to take on the world. She updated her resume, practiced for interviews, and started applying to high-end salons across Atlanta. At first, everything seemed promising. She received calls for interviews, and salon owners complimented her skills during demonstrations. But something always felt off. During each interview, Maya noticed the way people looked at her hair. She wore her natural afro proudly, a symbol of her identity and heritage. Yet, time and again, she sensed hesitation or discomfort from the interviewers. Some would give vague compliments about her technique, but then say things like, "You know, our clients expect a certain image." Others were more direct, suggesting that her appearance might not align with their brand. One salon owner even said, "Your hair is beautiful, but some customers might find it distracting." Each comment stung, but Maya tried to brush them off. She believed that her skills would speak louder than any preconceived notions about how she looked. But rejection after rejection began to weigh heavily on her. No matter how talented she was, no matter how glowing her references were, doors kept closing in her face. For months, Maya applied to dozens of salons, only to hear the same excuses over and over again. Some days, she wondered if she should change her hair to fit into their expectations. Maybe straightening it or wearing wigs would make things easier, but deep down she knew that wasn't who she was. Changing her hair wouldn't solve the real issue. It wouldn't fix the prejudice she was facing. The final blow came during an interview at a well-known salon in downtown Atlanta. Maya had prepared meticulously for this meeting. She dressed professionally, brought her portfolio filled with stunning before and after photos of her work, and rehearsed answers to potential questions. When she walked into the room, the salon manager greeted her warmly and seemed impressed by her qualifications. Everything seemed to be going well until the conversation shifted. The manager leaned back in her chair and said, "You're incredibly skilled, Maya, but I have to be honest, your hair might make some of our clients uncomfortable." Maya froze. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. All her hard work, all her sacrifices boiled down to this moment where someone judged her based on something as superficial as her hair. She wanted to argue, to explain that her hair was part of who she was and shouldn't define her abilities. But instead, she nodded politely, thanked the manager for her time, and left the building fighting back tears. That evening, Maya sat alone in her tiny apartment, staring at herself in the mirror. Her reflection showed a strong, capable woman who had overcome so much to get where she was. But it also showed someone who was tired of being told she wasn't good enough because of something she couldn't and wouldn't change. As she ran her fingers through her curls, she thought about all the women like her who must have faced similar struggles. Women who were judged not for their talents or character, but for the way they looked. A spark ignited within her. Instead of letting anger consume her, Maya decided to channel it into action. If the world wouldn't accept her for who she was, then she would create a space where others like her could feel valued and celebrated. That night, she grabbed a pen and paper and began brainstorming ideas. What if she opened her own salon, a place where women could walk in feeling confident and leave feeling empowered? a place where natural hair wasn't seen as unprofessional but as beautiful and powerful. As the hours passed, Maya's sadness turned into determination. She realized that her journey wasn't over. It was just beginning. Rejection had tried to break her, but instead, it had given her a new purpose. Little did she know, this moment would set the stage for a remarkable transformation, not just for herself, but for countless others who needed a safe space to embrace their true selves. That night, as Maya sat in her tiny apartment with her thoughts swirling like a storm, she made a decision that would change her life forever. She realized that the world wasn't going to hand her opportunities on a silver platter. She had to create them herself. Her dream of working at a prestigious salon might have been shattered, but a new dream began to take shape in its place. What if she could build something bigger? Something that didn't just serve customers but also celebrated identity, culture, and self-love. The idea of opening her own salon felt overwhelming at first, but it ignited a fire within her. A fire fueled by pain, hope, and determination. The next morning, Maya woke up early and started researching everything she could about starting a business. She spent hours online reading articles, watching videos, and jotting down notes. At first, the process seemed impossible. How could someone with no business experience and very little money start a salon? But Maya refused to let doubt creep in. Instead, she reminded herself of all the times she had overcome challenges before. If she could graduate top of her class while working 2 jobs, surely she could figure this out too. Her first step was creating a rough plan. She sketched out what her ideal salon would look like. Not just the physical space, but the atmosphere, the values, and the mission behind it. She wanted it to be more than just a place where people got their hair done. It would be a sanctuary for women who felt judged or excluded because of their natural hair. She envisioned lively conversations, laughter, and empowerment filling the air. Every detail mattered, from the decor to the music playing in the background. She even came up with a name, Roots and Crowns. To Maya, the name symbolized strength and beauty, the roots being a connection to one's true self and the crown representing confidence and royalty. But dreaming was the easy part. Turning those dreams into reality required resources Maya didn't have. She needed money to rent a space, buy equipment, and market her business. With only $500 saved from years of working odd jobs, she knew she couldn't do it alone, so she reached out to everyone she could think of, friends, family, former instructors, and local business owners, for advice and support. Some offered encouragement, while others gave practical tips. One friend suggested she try crowdfunding, explaining that sharing her story online might resonate with people who had faced similar struggles. At first, Maya hesitated. Putting her personal story out there felt vulnerable. What if people judged her? What if they didn't care? But then she remembered why she was doing this, not just for herself, but for all the women who deserved to feel seen and valued. Taking a deep breath, she wrote a heartfelt post on social media. In it, she shared her journey. From the joy of discovering her passion for beauty to the heartbreak of being rejected because of her hair, she talked about her vision for Roots and Crowns and how it would be a safe space for women to embrace their natural beauty. She ended the post with a simple plea. If you believe in me and my mission, please help me bring this dream to life. To her surprise, the response was overwhelming. Within days, her post went viral. Women from all over the country reached out, sharing their own stories of discrimination and frustration. Some sent messages of support, while others donated money to her crowdfunding campaign. Strangers became allies and allies became friends. People weren't just investing in her business, they were investing in the message behind it. By the end of the month, Maya had raised enough money to cover the initial cost of starting her salon. With funding secured, Maya turned her attention to finding a location. She scoured Atlanta for affordable spaces, eventually settling on a small, rundown storefront in a less than glamorous part of town. The walls were cracked, the floors were uneven, and the plumbing barely worked. But Maya saw potential where others saw problems. This was her chance to build something from scratch, to pour her heart and soul into every corner of the space. She rolled up her sleeves and got to work. Since she couldn't afford to hire contractors, she enlisted the help of friends and family. Her brother painted the walls a warm golden yellow, while her best friend helped hang mirrors and curtains. Neighbors donated old furniture, and a local artist offered to paint a mural celebrating Black beauty and culture. Slowly but surely, the empty shell transformed into a vibrant, welcoming space. Every detail reflected Maya's vision, from the colorful artwork on the walls to the uplifting quotes framed in gold. As the finishing touches were added, Maya focused on stocking the salon with supplies. Money was still tight, so she bought secondhand chairs, mismatched combs, and whatever else she could find at thrift stores. It wasn't perfect, but it was hers. And most importantly, it was authentic. Roots and Crowns wasn't about luxury or perfection. It was about creating a space where people felt comfortable being themselves. Finally, after months of hard work, the day arrived when Roots and Crowns was ready to open its doors. Maya stood outside the salon, nervously adjusting the IQ sign that read, "Grand Opening, Be You Beautifully." Inside, the air smelled of fresh paint and excitement. 3 customers walked in that day. 2 were longtime friends showing their support, and 1 was a stranger who had seen Maya's story online. As Maya styled their hair and listened to their stories, she realized something profound. This wasn't just a business, it was a movement. Word spread quickly. By the end of the first week, Roots and Crowns was bustling with clients. Women came not just for haircuts, but for connection and community. They shared laughs, tears, and stories of resilience. For many, stepping into the salon felt like coming home. Maya watched as her dream unfolded before her eyes, knowing that this was only the beginning. She had faced rejection, doubt, and fear, but none of those things had stopped her. Instead, they had pushed her to create something extraordinary, and, though the road ahead would undoubtedly have its challenges, Maya felt ready. She had proven to herself that she was capable of more than she ever imagined. More importantly, she had created a space where others could see themselves as capable, beautiful, and unstoppable. Roots and Crowns wasn't just a salon. It was proof that when you refuse to let the world define you, you can redefine the world instead. Maya's journey was far from over when Roots and Crowns opened its doors. In fact, the real challenges were just beginning. While the first few weeks brought excitement and a steady stream of customers, Maya quickly realized that running a business required more than passion. It demanded resilience, strategy, and relentless problem-solving. Every day presented new obstacles, but Maya faced them head-on, fueled by her unwavering determination to make her dream a reality. One of the biggest hurdles was managing finances. The money raised through crowdfunding had been enough to cover the initial costs of setting up the salon, but it wasn't nearly enough to sustain operations in the long run. Supplies needed replenishing, utility bills piled up, and rent was due every month. To keep things afloat, Maya worked tirelessly, often pulling 12-hour shifts styling hair while juggling administrative tasks late into the night. She also took on freelance gigs during her rare free hours, doing makeup for weddings and events to bring in extra income. Despite the exhaustion, she never complained. For Maya, this struggle wasn't just about survival. It was about proving that her vision could succeed. Another challenge came from unexpected criticism. Not everyone supported Maya's mission. Some skeptics dismissed her efforts as impractical or idealistic, claiming that a salon focused on natural hair wouldn't attract enough clients to stay profitable. Others accused her of being too ambitious, saying she should stick to working at someone else's salon instead of trying to run her own. Even within her community, there were whispers of doubt. A few people questioned whether Roots and Crowns would last beyond its novelty phase, but Maya refused to let negativity deter her. Instead, she used the criticism as motivation to work harder. She knew that success wouldn't come overnight, but she believed deeply in the importance of what she was building. This wasn't just about making money. It was about creating a space where women felt valued and empowered. And slowly, word of mouth began to turn the tide in her favor. To attract more clients, Maya got creative with marketing. She couldn't afford expensive ads, so she relied on grassroots strategies. She posted before and after photos of her work on social media, sharing stories of how her services helped women embrace their natural beauty. She hosted Natural Hair Sundays, offering free consultations and styling tips to anyone who walked in. These events became wildly popular, drawing crowds of curious attendees eager to learn more about caring for their curls, coils, and kinks. Maya also partnered with local influencers and bloggers, inviting them to visit the salon and share their experiences online. Her authenticity resonated with people, and soon, Roots and Crowns gained a loyal following. As the salon grew busier, Maya hired her first employee, a young woman named Jasmine, who had recently graduated from cosmetology school. Like Maya, Jasmine had struggled to find a job because of her natural hairstyle. When Maya offered her a position at Roots and Crowns, Jasmine burst into tears of gratitude. "You're giving me a chance no one else would," she said. Watching Jasmine thrive in the salon reinforced Maya's belief that her mission extended beyond herself. By providing opportunities to others facing similar discrimination, she was helping to break down barriers in the industry. Despite these victories, Maya faced setbacks that tested her resolve. One particularly tough moment came when a pipe burst in the salon, flooding the entire space and causing thousands of dollars in damage. With no insurance to cover the repairs, Maya feared she might lose everything she had worked so hard to build. But once again, her community rallied around her. Customers organized fundraisers, friends volunteered to help clean up, and local businesses donated materials to fix the damage. Through sheer grit and collective effort, Roots and Crowns reopened, stronger than ever. Amidst the chaos, Maya continued to innovate. She introduced workshops and classes aimed at educating women about embracing their natural hair. Topics ranged from basic care routines to advanced styling techniques. The workshops became a cornerstone of the salon's identity, fostering a sense of camaraderie among participants. Women left not only with newfound knowledge but also with a renewed sense of confidence. Many told Maya that attending these sessions changed how they viewed themselves, helping them shed years of self-doubt imposed by societal standards. Maya also made it a priority to celebrate Black culture in every aspect of the salon. She collaborated with local artists to display paintings, sculptures, and photographs that highlighted African heritage. Music playlists featured songs by Black musicians spanning different genres and eras. Even the products she stocked, shampoos, conditioners, and oils, were specifically tailored for textured hair and sourced from Black-owned companies. Every detail reinforced the message that Roots and Crowns was a place of pride and empowerment. By the end of the first year, Roots and Crowns had become more than just a salon. It was a beacon of hope and transformation. Clients weren't just coming for haircuts. They were coming for healing. They shared stories of overcoming insecurities, standing up to workplace discrimination, and teaching their daughters to love their natural hair. Maya listened to each story with gratitude, knowing that her salon had played a role in their journeys. But perhaps the most rewarding part of Maya's journey was seeing how her impact rippled outward. Other stylists began reaching out to her, asking for advice on starting their own salons or incorporating inclusivity into their practices. Magazines and blogs started featuring Roots and Crowns, praising Maya for redefining beauty standards in the industry. What had once been a tiny, struggling storefront was now gaining recognition as a trailblazer in the world of natural hair care. Looking back on that first year, Maya marveled at how far she had come. There were moments when she doubted herself, moments when the weight of responsibility felt unbearable. But through it all, she remained steadfast in her belief that representation mattered. She had built something extraordinary, not just for herself, but for everyone who had ever been told they didn't belong. And as she stood in the bustling salon, surrounded by laughter, creativity, and connection, Maya knew that Roots and Crowns was proof that even the toughest battles could lead to the most beautiful victories. The road ahead still held challenges, but Maya was ready. She had weathered storms, rebuilt from ruins, and turned rejection into triumph. Now, armed with experience and a growing network of supporters, she set her sights on expanding Roots and Crowns to reach even more people. Her dream was no longer just hers. It belonged to an entire community united by a shared vision of empowerment and self-love. As Roots and Crowns entered its second year, Maya's vision grew bolder and more ambitious. She wasn't content with simply running a successful salon. She wanted to challenge the deeply ingrained beauty standards that had excluded so many women like her. For decades, mainstream media, fashion, and even the beauty industry itself had perpetuated narrow ideals of professionalism and attractiveness, ideals that often erased Black women's natural features. Maya was determined to dismantle those stereotypes one curl at a time. The first step in this mission was education. Maya knew that many women avoided embracing their natural hair, not because they didn't want to, but because they lacked the knowledge or tools to care for it properly. Growing up, she had faced similar struggles. Her own journey to loving her afro had been filled with trial and error, frustration, and moments of doubt. Determined to spare others from that same experience, Maya expanded her workshop offerings at Roots and Crowns. These weren't just ordinary styling classes. They were immersive experiences designed to empower women to take pride in their unique textures. Each workshop began with a simple yet powerful message. Your hair is already beautiful. You just need to learn how to nurture it. Maya taught participants about the science of textured hair, explaining why certain products worked better than others, and how to avoid common mistakes like overwashing or using harsh chemicals. She emphasized the importance of patience, encouraging women to see their hair as an evolving art form, rather than something that needed to conform to societal expectations. The sessions were interactive, hands-on, and full of laughter. Women, left not only with practical tips but also with a renewed sense of confidence. But Maya didn't stop there. She understood that true change required addressing the emotional scars left by years of discrimination. Many women who came to Roots and Crowns carried painful memories of being teased, ridiculed, or rejected because of their hair. Some had been told by teachers, bosses, or family members that their natural styles were unprofessional or messy. To heal these wounds, Maya introduced storytelling circles during her workshops. Participants were invited to share their personal journeys, the good, the bad, and the ugly. At first, some hesitated, unsure if they wanted to open up about such vulnerable topics. But Maya always went first, sharing her own story of rejection and resilience. Her honesty created a safe space where others felt comfortable doing the same. Slowly, the room would fill with voices recounting tales of overcoming adversity. A teacher talked about wearing braids to work, despite disapproving stares from colleagues. A mother described teaching her daughter to love her coils after years of straightening them. Each story was met with nods of understanding, applause, and sometimes tears. By the end of the session, strangers became sisters bound together by shared experiences and mutual support. These workshops quickly gained popularity, drawing attendees from all over Atlanta and beyond. Word spread through social media, where Maya posted videos of the events alongside inspiring captions like, "Your roots tell your story. Embrace them." Soon, Roots and Crowns became known not just as a salon but as a hub for empowerment and self-discovery. Women traveled long distances to attend the workshops, bringing friends, daughters, and even mothers along. For many, it was their first time stepping into a space specifically designed to celebrate Black beauty. Maya also recognized the power of representation in shaping perceptions. Mainstream beauty campaigns rarely featured models with natural hairstyles, reinforcing the idea that textured hair was somehow less desirable. To counteract this, Maya launched a photography project called Crowned in Confidence. She collaborated with local photographers to capture stunning portraits of women showcasing their natural hair in all its glory. The photos were displayed on the walls of the salon, creating a gallery-like atmosphere that celebrated diversity in texture, length, and style. Customers loved seeing themselves reflected in these images. It reminded them that their beauty deserved to be seen and admired. The project didn't stop there. Maya uploaded the photos to social media, tagging each participant and encouraging them to share their stories online. The response was overwhelming. Thousands of people engaged with the posts, leaving comments like, "This gave me goosebumps," and I finally feel seen. Inspired by the feedback, Maya compiled the portraits and stories into a book titled Roots and Crowns: Stories of Strength and Beauty. Proceeds from the book sales went toward funding scholarships for aspiring cosmetologists, ensuring that her impact extended beyond the salon. In addition to empowering individuals, Maya sought to influence broader cultural conversations about beauty and professionalism. She started speaking at schools, community centers, and conferences, sharing her insights on inclusivity and representation. Her talks were equal parts educational and motivational, blending statistics about workplace discrimination with heartfelt anecdotes about her own journey. Audiences responded enthusiastically, often approaching her afterward to thank her for giving voice to issues they had silently grappled with for years. One particularly memorable moment occurred when Maya spoke at a high school career day. After her presentation, a teenage girl approached her, visibly nervous. "Ms. Maya," she said, "I've always wanted to wear my hair naturally, but I'm scared my future boss won't think it looks professional." Maya smiled warmly and replied, "Let me tell you something. If someone can't see your value because of your hair, then they don't deserve your talent. You are enough exactly as you are." The girl hugged her tightly, tears streaming down her face. That interaction stayed with Maya long after the event ended. It reminded her why she did what she did. Every word she spoke, every action she took, had the potential to change someone's life. As Roots and Crowns continued to grow, Maya noticed a shift in the wider community. More salons began offering services tailored to textured hair. Local businesses started featuring diverse models in their advertisements. Even workplaces seemed to loosen their rigid dress codes, allowing employees to express themselves authentically. While Maya knew there was still much work to be done, she felt proud knowing that Roots and Crowns had played a role in sparking this change. By the end of the second year, Roots and Crowns had transformed into more than just a business. It was a movement. Its influence reached far beyond the walls of the salon, touching lives across generations and communities. Women walked out of Roots and Crowns not only with beautifully styled hair, but also with a deeper understanding of their worth. They carried Maya's message with them wherever they went, spreading it like seeds in fertile soil. And yet, Maya remained humble. She never saw herself as a hero or a savior, just as someone who refused to let the world define her. Her journey had taught her that redefining beauty standards wasn't about changing the world overnight. It was about planting seeds of confidence, one woman at a time. As she looked around her bustling salon, filled with laughter, creativity, and connection, Maya knew she was exactly where she was meant to be. Her dream of creating a space where everyone belonged had become a reality, and it was only the beginning. By the third year of Roots and Crowns, Maya's salon had become a household name in Atlanta. What started as a humble storefront with mismatched chairs and second-hand mirrors had grown into a thriving hub for empowerment and creativity. But Maya wasn't satisfied with stopping there. Her vision had always been bigger than just one location. She wanted to create a lasting legacy that would uplift communities and inspire future generations. This realization marked the beginning of an exciting new chapter, scaling up her business while staying true to its mission. The first step toward expansion came when Maya opened a second Roots and Crowns location in a neighboring city. She chose a community that lacked access to affordable, inclusive beauty services, ensuring that her growth aligned with her values. The new salon followed the same principles as the original, celebrating natural hair, fostering connection, and providing opportunities for underrepresented stylists. To keep costs manageable, Maya reinvested profits from the flagship salon into the new venture. She also partnered with local businesses to source materials and equipment, further strengthening ties within the community. As word spread about the second location, demand skyrocketed. Customers flocked to both salons, eager to experience the magic of Roots and Crowns. Maya knew she couldn't handle everything on her own anymore. It was time to build a team. She hired managers, trainers, and additional stylists, many of whom were graduates of her workshops or recipients of the scholarships she funded. Each new hire brought fresh energy and ideas, helping Roots and Crowns evolve while maintaining its core identity. Maya took great care in training her staff, emphasizing not just technical skills, but also the importance of empathy, inclusivity, and representation. Despite the rapid growth, Maya refused to compromise on quality or authenticity. Every decision, from the products used to the music played in the salons, was made with intention. She introduced monthly meetings where employees could share feedback and suggest improvements, creating a collaborative environment where everyone felt valued. This approach paid off. Customer satisfaction remained high, and employee retention soared. Many stylists stayed with Roots and Crowns for years, citing the supportive culture and alignment with their personal values as key reasons. But Maya's ambitions extended beyond expanding her business. She believed deeply in the power of education and mentorship, especially for women who faced barriers similar to those she had encountered early in her career. Inspired by her own struggles, she founded a nonprofit organization called Roots Rising. Its mission was simple yet profound: to provide free cosmetology training to underprivileged women, giving them the tools and confidence to pursue careers in the beauty industry. Roots Rising launched with a pilot program at the original Roots and Crowns location. Participants received hands-on instruction, mentorship, and access to resources like textbooks and styling kits. Maya personally oversaw the program, teaching classes and sharing her story to motivate students. She made sure the curriculum covered not only technical skills but also soft skills like communication, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship. By the end of the 6-month course, graduates were equipped to pass state licensing exams and secure jobs in salons, or even start their own businesses. The impact of Roots Rising was immediate and transformative. Women who had once felt trapped in low-paying, dead-end jobs found new purpose and stability through cosmetology. Some went on to work at Roots and Crowns, continuing the cycle of opportunity and growth. Others opened their own salons, spreading Maya's message of empowerment to new corners of the country. One graduate, a single mother named Tasha, summed it up perfectly during a graduation speech. "Before this program, I didn't think I had options. Now I know I can do anything, and so can my daughter." Maya's efforts to give back didn't stop there. Recognizing the importance of early intervention, she partnered with schools to teach young girls about self-love and representation. Through interactive workshops and assemblies, she encouraged students to embrace their natural features and reject harmful stereotypes. She often brought along former Roots Rising graduates to share their journeys, showing the girls that success was possible regardless of their circumstances. These sessions left a lasting impression, sparking conversations among teachers, parents, and students alike. To amplify her reach, Maya collaborated with other organizations working towards similar goals. She joined forces with advocacy groups, fighting against discriminatory policies like bans on natural hairstyles in schools and workplaces. Together, they lobbied for legislative changes and raised awareness about the psychological toll of such biases. Maya became a vocal advocate, using her platform to speak out against systemic racism and inequality. Her speeches resonated deeply, earning her invitations to national conferences and media appearances. As Roots and Crowns continued to expand, Maya faced challenges inherent to scaling any business. Managing multiple locations required meticulous planning and delegation, skills she hadn't needed when running a single salon. There were moments of doubt, times when the weight of responsibility felt overwhelming. But Maya reminded herself of why she had started this journey in the first place. Every challenge was an opportunity to grow, both personally and professionally. And whenever she felt unsure, she looked around at the lives she had touched, the stylists thriving in their careers, the clients walking taller after leaving her salons, the young girls learning to love themselves, and found renewed strength. By the 5th year, Roots and Crowns operated 5 locations across the Southeast, each one a testament to Maya's resilience and vision. The brand had become synonymous with inclusivity and empowerment, attracting attention from major publications and industry leaders. Yet despite the accolades, Maya remained grounded. She still spent hours styling hair, mentoring employees, and connecting with customers. For her, the heart of Roots and Crowns lay not in its size or success, but in the people it served. One evening, As Maya sat in her office reviewing plans for another expansion, she reflected on how far she had come. From being rejected because of her hair to building a multi-million-dollar empire, her journey had been nothing short of extraordinary. But more importantly, she had created something that transcended profit, a movement rooted in love, acceptance, and possibility. As she closed her laptop and turned off the lights, Maya smiled, knowing that her work was far from over. The world still needed reminders that beauty comes in all forms, and she intended to keep delivering that message, one salon, one workshop, one life at a time. Through Roots and Crowns and Roots Rising, Maya proved that success isn't measured by wealth or fame, but by the positive impact you leave on others. Her story inspired countless individuals to dream bigger, push harder, and believe in themselves, even when the odds seemed insurmountable. And as her empire grew, so did her commitment to giving back, ensuring that her legacy would endure long after she was gone. Years had passed since Maya first stared into the mirror, heartbroken and rejected because of her hair. What began as a painful moment of discrimination had transformed into a journey of resilience, innovation, and triumph. By the 7th year of Roots and Crowns, Maya's name was no longer just known in Atlanta. It echoed across the nation. Her salons were thriving hubs of creativity and empowerment. Her nonprofit organization was changing lives, and her advocacy work had sparked meaningful conversations about beauty, identity, and equality. Yet, for all the success she achieved, Maya never lost sight of where it all began. One crisp autumn morning, Maya received an email that would mark a pivotal moment in her life. A prominent national entrepreneurship conference had invited her to speak at their annual event and present her with an award for social impact through innovation. The email praised her for redefining beauty standards and creating opportunities for marginalized communities. As she read the message, tears welled up in her eyes, not from pride, but from disbelief. She thought back to those days when rejection letters piled up on her desk and salon owners dismissed her because of her afro. Now here she was being celebrated for refusing to conform to narrow definitions of professionalism. The night before the conference, Maya stayed up late preparing her speech. She wanted her words to resonate deeply, not just with aspiring entrepreneurs, but with anyone who had ever felt excluded or underestimated. She scribbled notes, crossed out sentences, and rewrote entire paragraphs until she found the right balance of vulnerability and inspiration. When she finally went to bed, her mind raced with memories of the past decade. The sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the moments of doubt, and the victories that made it all worthwhile. The next day, Maya stood backstage at the conference center, clutching her notes and taking deep breaths to calm her nerves. The auditorium buzzed with anticipation as hundreds of attendees filed in. Business leaders, innovators, activists, and dreamers eager to hear stories of grit and determination. When Maya's name was called, she walked onto the stage to thunderous applause. Spotlights illuminated her as she stepped up to the podium, her natural afro glowing under the bright lights. For a brief moment she paused, letting the significance of the moment sink in. "Good evening," she began, her voice steady but warm. "When I started my journey, I never imagined I'd be standing here today. In fact, there were times when I wasn't sure I'd make it through tomorrow." The audience chuckled softly, drawn in by her honesty. Maya continued, sharing her story, from the rejection she faced early in her career to the decision to open Roots and Crowns. She spoke about the challenges of building a business from scratch, the doubts she battled, and the unwavering support of her community. Her words painted a vivid picture of struggle and perseverance, earning nods of understanding from the crowd. But Maya didn't stop there. She shifted gears, focusing on the broader impact of her work. "Roots and Crowns isn't just a salon," she explained. "It's a movement, a celebration of identity, culture, and self-love. It's proof that when we embrace who we are, we can inspire others to do the same." She highlighted stories of women whose lives had been transformed by her workshops, scholarships, and advocacy efforts. She talked about Tasha, the single mother who graduated from Roots Rising and now owned her own salon, She mentioned the teenage girl who once feared wearing her natural hair to school, but now proudly rocked braids thanks to one of Maya's school visits. Each story reinforced the idea that change starts small, but has the power to ripple outward. As Maya neared the end of her speech, she grew emotional. "This award isn't mine alone," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "It belongs to every woman who has ever been told she doesn't belong because of her hair. It belongs to every child who needs to hear that they are enough exactly as they are, and it belongs to everyone who refuses to let the world define them." The room erupted in applause, many people rising to their feet in admiration. Cameras flashed as reporters captured the moment, and several attendees wiped away tears. After the ceremony, Maya was swarmed by journalists and admirers eager to learn more about her journey. One reporter asked, "What advice would you give to someone facing rejection or discrimination?" Without hesitation, Maya replied, "Remember this. Rejection doesn't define you. It refines you. Every no brings you closer to your purpose. Use your pain as fuel. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and never stop fighting for what you deserve." Over the following weeks, Maya's story dominated headlines. Magazines featured her on their covers, calling her a beauty mogul and a champion of inclusivity. Television shows invited her to share her insights on entrepreneurship and social justice. Social media exploded with hashtags like "Crowned in Confidence" and "Be You Beautifully," inspired by her message. People from all walks of life reached out, thanking her for giving them hope and reminding them of their worth. Despite the newfound fame, Maya remained committed to her roots, literally and figuratively. She continued overseeing operations at Roots and Crowns, ensuring that each location stayed true to its mission. She expanded Roots Rising to include mentorship programs for young boys and men, recognizing the importance of empowering all genders. She also launched a line of affordable, high-quality hair care products specifically designed for textured hair, partnering with Black-owned suppliers to keep the initiative sustainable. Maya's influence extended beyond the beauty industry. Schools began incorporating lessons on self-love and representation into their curriculums, inspired by her workshops. Corporations reviewed their policies on appearance, eliminating discriminatory clauses against natural hairstyles. Lawmakers cited her advocacy during debates on legislation protecting individuals from bias based on hair texture or style. Maya's vision had sparked a cultural shift, one that celebrated diversity and challenged outdated norms. On a personal level, Maya found joy in watching her team thrive. Many of her original employees had grown into leadership roles, mentoring the next generation of stylists and activists. Jasmine, the young woman Maya had hired years ago, now managed multiple locations and spearheaded community outreach initiatives. Seeing others succeed brought Maya immense satisfaction. It reminded her that her legacy wasn't just about her achievements, but about the collective impact of everyone involved. Looking back on her journey, Maya realized how far she had come and how much further there was to go. Discrimination still existed, and systemic barriers persisted. But she took solace in knowing that she had planted seeds of change. Each salon, each workshop, each conversation contributed to a larger movement toward acceptance and equality. Maya often told herself, "I may not see the full harvest, but I've done my part to sow the field." In quieter moments, Maya reflected on the irony of it all. The very thing that once held her back, her hair, had become the cornerstone of her success. Her afro wasn't just a hairstyle. It was a symbol of resilience, authenticity, and pride. It represented every woman who dared to stand tall despite societal pressures. It embodied the spirit of Roots and Crowns, unapologetic, bold, and beautiful. Today, Maya is more than a salon owner or entrepreneur. She is a trailblazer, a role model, and a beacon of hope. Her journey proves that rejection can lead to reinvention, that pain can fuel purpose, and that embracing who you are can transform not only your life, but the lives of countless others. As she continues to expand her empire and advocate for change, Maya carries with her the lessons of her past and the dreams of her future. And so, Maya's story serves as a reminder that greatness often emerges from adversity. By staying true to herself and using her struggles as stepping stones, She turned rejection into recognition, pain into power, and a simple dream into a nationwide movement. Her legacy will endure, not because of the awards she won or the businesses she built, but because of the hearts she touched and the minds she changed. For Maya, success isn't measured by titles or trophies. It's measured by the number of people she helped find their own crowns.